Welcome to the last portion of this video series for the Jake exercise. We have all of our layers cut and pasted and ready to be put in order, so that's the first thing we're going to do. To do that, I'm going to go to my Move tool, which is the first tool in the toolbar, and I'm again going to double check and make sure that this auto select checkbox is selected. After I've double checked that, I'm going to start moving these shapes into place. Here it looks like the snout is supposed to go underneath the mouth flap, so I'm going to click and drag the snout layer and move it just under the mouth flap. And I just want a little bit of it peeking out. The nose layer can stay up here on top of the mouth flap layer. And lastly, I just have to move these black circles. So this one that I've selected is the left eye. I'm gonna just place it right over the mouth flap. And then the right eye, I'll just put on this side. I wanna just make sure the spacing is nice and even. I'm gonna line this up as best as I can and eyeball it. Get it? Eyeball. And now I'm going to move on to the highlights for the eye. So this is the highlight for the left eye, the first copy I made. So I'm going to just put that on the left eye. We are going to make it look like Jake is sort of looking up. So I'm going to put the highlights at the top middle. If you want to be really precise with the movements of these layers, you can also use the arrow keys on your keyboard. As I press up, it will move up, and if I press down, it'll move down. And then I'll do the same with the next eye. And just move it right in the center. And again, I can use my arrow keys to adjust as needed. So now I have all of my layers stacked on top of each other. Lastly, I want to just center all of these layers in the middle of my canvas. First, I'm going to delete this background layer. So I'm going to click background and I'm just going to hit backspace on my keyboard. And now I want to select all of these layers at the same time so I can move them all at the same time. To do that, I will click the topmost layer, which is highlight left eye. Then I'm going to hold shift on my keyboard and click the last layer, which is snout. When you do that, you'll notice this dark overlay shows up on your layers, meaning they're selected. And now you can just use your move tool and click and drag to move all of your layers at the same time. Then just click on one of your layers to deselect. The last thing we have to do is add a background to this project. The background in this case should be the same color as Jake's snout. So I'm going to show you how to add a custom color background with what's called the eyedropper tool. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, which is the sixth tool in the toolbar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It almost looks like a turkey baster. So I'm going to click on the eyedropper tool and I'm going to sample a color from my document. In this case, I want to sample the color of the snout. So all I have to do is just click that yellow. You'll notice now at the very bottom of your toolbar, the color in this box has changed to that same yellow. This top box, this is what we call foreground color. This is the background color, which we don't need to learn about yet. We'll learn about that later on. But as long as your foreground color is now set to yellow, you are good to go to the next step. Finally, we are going to make a new layer. So I'm going to click on that small sticky note at the very bottom right of my layer panel. It has a small fold on the bottom left of it. And when I click that, it created a new layer called layer 1. I'm going to change the name to background and I'm going to move it underneath the snout layer by clicking and dragging it. Now finally, I'm going to fill my background with color. I'm going to do that by going to Edit, Fill. Now last time with Fin, for the fill option, we clicked this and then we clicked Custom. This time, we want to fill the background with the foreground color, which is this yellow that we've selected. We're going to make sure the blend mode is set to normal, opacity is set to 100, and we're going to click OK. And it's going to fill your whole background with this color that we picked. That's it for the Jake exercise. Congrats on finishing it, and I'll see you on the next one.